because they can have the Naga Witch Doctor support duo with the Ogre offlane, but I would say it's pretty unlikely at this point. It's most likely just going to be that mid Naga Siren.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that should be noted about Evil Geniuses is they have a lot of flexibility on their players on each hero. I mean, you look through their recent games, Fear plays Puck, Universe plays Puck, Ogre can be played in the core role, can be played in the support role. PPD and Zai both play the Witch Doctor. Naga a little bit less flexible normally just because, it's one of our TZ's best heroes for sure. So the flexibility though is something that Evil Geniuses have been concentrating on. It's something that Peter has mentioned in interviews. It's something that they're actively working on to try to make sure that their players are as flexible as possible. And that might allow them down the road, once they've sort of grown accustomed to this style, to have much greater flexibility in their drafts.
Yeah, and someone in the chat multiple people have said that our mic volumes aren't very aligned. So I'm going to try to listen.
Am I too quiet?
I don't know. I'm going to try to listen really quick.
I'm going to assume I'm too quiet. But
yeah, you're too quiet.
All right. Well, we will
fix.
It's an easy fix, Easy peasy. But Team Tinker, last pick here. Where do they want to go with this?
Probably going to be a mid hero.
Yeah. They do have the Viper, which can go there, but what's the Viper versus Naga matchup?
Naga farms decently in that matchup.
Yeah,
you get pressured. The issue with Viper is that you can't really clear out the illusions very effectively, which is actually quite important early. So yeah, they are going to go with the Ember. So the Ember is going to be mid against Naga, so he's going to have a really easy time in this matchup. He's going to be able to harass Naga, clear out those illusions quite easily.
Yeah, I mean, Ember, we've seen a lot of success. I don't know. I'm really torn about this hero because sometimes you see it and it's just like a complete lame duck and it does nothing. And sometimes you see it and it's absolutely amazing, destroys everyone.
Yeah. When I watch the Chinese play Ember, he looks like a tier 1 hero, like a first pick.
Yeah, like super or something.
I think not even just super, like a lot of the tier 2 Chinese teams as well have been picking a lot of Ember Spirit, and they'll like take games off LGD and top tier Chinese teams with Ember, and performances like that, and you're like, well, maybe this hero is tier 1. And then I just think maybe Western teams don't use the hero correctly, just because when I watch Western teams play it, it just seems like it's a coin flip. Like half the time they go ham, and then the other time, they have our TZ circa DreamHack performance where they just, nothing goes right for them. They can't farm anywhere. They're just feeding because of silences, and they just can't manage to find any space or farm. But
yeah, but if there is a player I think that is equipped to play it, it's definitely Sing Sing, definitely one of his signature heroes, and well, looking forward to seeing how this game develops as we move forward. Arteezy is going to be on the Naga Siren, so not a huge surprise there. It is going to be Universe on the Puck, although we have had some Fear Puck, and he played it, I think, also in ESL was the most recent event I remember in, and it's been impressively good, honestly. I was extremely impressed with how he's been playing it, and
I think
to be noted that Arteezy is not even using his own set. What a goddamn sellout. And that might be the opposite of sellout.
The opposite of sellout. What is that?
That's the other. It's the Ice set or something. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Can't even think of a word. That's the opposite of sellout. No words can describe Arteezy right now.
But some quick introductions. Like mentioned, it's going to be Universe on the Puck for Evil Geniuses. Arteezy on the Naga Siren. Fear is going to be picking up the Venomancer, the Slug. I hate this hero so much. Zai is going to be on the Witch Doctor, and on the Ogre, it's going to be Peter Pandam, PPD, the Salt King himself.
Yep, and then on the side of Team Tinker in the top lane, we're going to have Pycat playing his safe lane Viper. The two supports are going to be Bulba on the Elder Titan, EGM playing the Vengeful Spirit. In the mid lane, we're going to have Sing Sing playing the Ember Spirit, and in the off lane, Quakeva on the Tidehunter.
So there's Quakeva on the off lane, like you mentioned. Sing Sing maybe a bit more comfortable in the mid lane. So.
I feel like it's not that Quakeva. I think actually Quakeva is better at the mid lane than Sing Sing.
Oh, okay, but Sing Sing is.
It's like the difference between
splitting the difference, or however you want to call it. But Peter throwing an Ignite out here, trading a lot of harass in this top lane. think they've realized that bottom lane seems pretty unlikely that they can actually get a kill. They can zone out the Tidehunter, but Peter, I think, is just going to be roaming. This is sort of what he does. He wanders around to the lanes that need help. You see it a lot when he plays heroes like Abaddon, and we'll see if it continues for this game.
If you notice, EG will always pick an extremely strong safe lane carry, even if they're going to have it as a solo, because they really want to dominate whatever heroes in the off lane. So this game, they're going to have the Venomancer and the Witch Doctor combining. So 2 ranged heroes against this Tidehunter. They're going to have the slow, the stun, and he might get a little bit of experience in this off lane, but definitely not going to get any CS.
Yeah, seems pretty unlikely. Venge taking a lot of harass here, but still level 1 on the Ogre, so no stun available. EGM does have to be careful, though. He's taking a lot of damage here, only has 1 salve remaining. Mid lane, Arteezy's doing just fine here against the Ember, both of them farming quite well, and not unexpected. Would you tilt this lane towards any particular way as we sort of progress along here?
I'm actually not entirely sure. I would, when I think about the matchup, I would say it's Ember favored, just because whenever you're in a lane situation where you can't actually remove the Flame Guard, it's actually pretty significant, because he's going to have kill pressure at some point on Arteezy.
Yeah, definitely true, and we'll see how Arteezy continues to go to work here. We know exactly what he's going to be doing, although he has had a little bit of variation in his builds lately. Sometimes he goes for more of a fighting-oriented build where he actually skips the Radiance, but in the mid lane, would still not be surprised to see that Radiance first build.
By skip Radiance, you mean he goes like for drums first?
Well, he goes like drums, and sometimes he even goes for like early diffusal.
Really?
But yeah, I've only seen him do it a couple times, but it does happen occasionally. But obviously what we're used to seeing is just the Radiance Naga.
I would say it's fairly unlikely that we see something like that this game, because
it's not like they're under any huge... I mean, they're under some pressure from the Viper, but Ember Spirit needs some time. It's not like it's a Death Prophet that's going to be really pushing on them or anything. So I agree with you. I think it seems pretty
Ember not really the best at taking towers, and he has this sort of awkward power curve where
oh god,
I do miss the kill in the bottom lane.
I blame you. While Tidehunter goes down here, it looks like they use Gale in combination with the Paralyzing Cask. We're keeping our eye on this top lane. I'm actually surprised there has not been a kill yet. A lot of hits getting traded back and forth here. They move on PBD. Is he going to be the first blood in this top lane? Yes, he is going to go down. EGM picking up that one. And we're returning down to the bottom lane. Still only level 2, so they're doing a decent job keeping away from that.
You have to be really careful when you're playing against the Elder Titan, even when it's a support. It's just, he gets surprisingly fast with the Astral Spirit and does a lot of damage when he has these boosts with the right clicks. And depending on how many creeps he hits with the Spirit, it's going to get a lot of extra damage from that as well.
Interesting build here from Bulba. He's gone for a level 2 Echo Stomp, so that's
I
probably just a result of the lane that they're in.
We also see this from No Tail pretty much every game.
Not the traditional, you know, you max the Astral, max the Natural Order, and then just right click on people. I guess that's more of an off-lane build.
Yeah.
So.
It does give you 2 points or 2 seconds of stun, so quite useful, and an additional 80 damage. So.
Yeah, big rotation coming in on this mid lane. Koikva going around the back. Arteezy might be in some trouble here. There's the chains going out. In comes the Spirit. He's taking a lot of damage. The Stomp comes in. That's already valuable. EGM follows that up with a stun, and Arteezy is going to go down here in the mid lane. So he falls fairly easily. Big rotation, though. There's a lot of heroes committed to that. 4 heroes.
And a really important kill to get on Arteezy in the early game on his Naga Siren. And Koikva does end up getting some experience. He's also able to disrupt the pulse in the bottom lane, so he's actually having a decent time. Level 4.5 against a really difficult lane to play against in the Venomancer and the Witch Doctor.
Yeah, getting some decent XP just in the last minute and a half or so. And things going pretty well for Team Tinker in general, getting that kill on Arteezy. Top lane, Viper is farming fairly well. Fear is farming extremely well, though. And what sort of build do you expect to see out of the Venomancer this game?
On the Venomancer? It's actually really hard to say. Yeah, I was going to say the treads, and then... I mean, we've seen the drums before. Most likely an Aghanim's Rush, I think, is most likely, as they are going to make a go on Koikva.
He's taking a lot of damage here. I don't think he's going to make it out of this one. The Maledict ticking away as well, and Fear going to be able to right-click him down. The last Maledict going to get it, and the mid lane looked like there might have been a little bit of action there, but Arteezy just going to be stacking up camps here.
Yeah, so interestingly enough, Zai actually does not have a point in Voodoo Restoration yet. He has 1 point in stats, 3 points in Paralyzing Cask, and the single point in Maledict.
A little bit of extra tankiness there from the stats, and Maledict, it's an ability subject to a lot of scrutiny. Some people like it, some people do not like it. And I mean, I think the value point in Voodoo Restoration seems extremely good. It's a good heal.
I mean, that definitely got them the kill there, the point of Maledict, so.
Yeah. Guess you could say it was worth it then. Can't complain too much.
And they are going to be pressuring this bottom tower. Team Tinker tried to make a rotation with the Elder Titan and Venge. Doesn't really look like they're able to do much at the moment. Yeah, they're just gonna... They didn't even show themselves bottom, so they've been off the map for quite some time.
Smoke up here in the mid lane.
EG have to know something's up. I mean, they've just been missing for so long at this point.
Rotating around. Are they going to find Fear? He is quite hidden. I mean, the smoke's going to dispel. They're going to know he's in the vicinity. They have the spirit to try to scout him out here. There's the remnant. They see Fear. Are they going to be able to grab him? No levels in Side Fist, so he cannot go forward there.
Yeah. Really just well placement of his hero by Fear, and then he had the Plague Ward, so right when the smoke broke, he had vision on all the heroes and was able to just walk away. And I mean, really unfortunate for Tinker. I think once your supports are off the map for that long, it's kind of obvious that something's going on. I mean, there was no pulling going on top, no supports were showing top, no supports were bottom, and then the mid laner goes missing, so all the alarms are going off on the side of EG.
And looks like RTZ is going to be at least stopping for the bracer. We'll see if that does turn into the drums. Top lane, though, they're going to take down Pycat. No way he's making it out of this one. Goes down. Sing Sing has rotated up. There they get a nice chains off. Universe is taking tons of damage. PPD as well. The Dream Coil went down. Double kill for Sing Sing as they get kind of caught in the corner there. That did not work out for them.
And you always have to be really careful about when you go for kills against this Ember Spirit, because if you're too close to the tower, it is so easy to make a rotation on this hero and just pick up 2 really quick kills. He does so much damage in the early game, it's actually insane. He has basically a 60 damage per second Ion Shell, and then he does 240 damage with the chains, and then he at any time can opt to use the triple.
Bulba actually just dead? He's dead. Zai just gets a solo kill onto Bulba, who gets a little bit aggressive. That's that Melodic build coming into play. That was ridiculous. He just sat there and died. The cast bounced back and forth. Now another cast goes out. It is going to bounce. Ooh. TGM's going to be okay.
That was a really awkward kill, actually.
No song for our TZ yet. Instead, going for full levels in the mirror image, and this is the heavy farm-oriented build. It looks like even though he is going to be stopping for drums, he is off to quite the start here.
Yep. And it looks like Pycat gonna be going for the standard treads into mechanism build. Probably gonna have the mech by about 11 minutes, so a decent timing from him. That one death really hurting him. He would have, I mean, the normal timing is about 10 minutes to have the mechanism, but it's gonna be a little behind that.
Yep, and continuing on forward here, drums finished for RTZ. He's gonna continue stacking up these camps, continue to farm.
Yep, looks like EGM and Sing Sing are gonna smoke. They might find RTZ in this jungle, and if they find him, he's actually just gonna die. He's only got 50 mana, no points in Song of the Siren, sitting at half HP, and yeah, it looks like he's just gonna fall here.
We'll see if he can get out of here, but nope, there's the chance. RTZ, Remnant even gonna get put down, but he is at such low HP. They do not need that. Pycat now gonna get chased down by Fear, who's gonna be going for an Aghanims this game. Gale is gonna hit. Are they gonna continue forward? Does not look like it. Peter's a little bit far behind. Almost level 6 though.
Yep, and that is definitely an important level for your Ogre Magi, as, I mean, multicast is just an absolutely ridiculous spell now. 40% at level 1. It used to actually be that leveling multicast didn't actually make sense at level 6, because it was only 20%, it made your spells cost more mana, and honestly you didn't get much value out of it before, but now, I mean, multicast is actually just such a ridiculous spell.
Just breaks the game sometimes, and both offlaners are moving towards a quick blink dagger here. Universe is fairly close, as well as Quake Weather. pretty even on progress on that front. Tidehunter gonna have a big impact in the team fights. Universe gonna maybe enable some pickoffs, and EG does have a good team to do so, with which they're going for this levels and Maledict. They have a little bit of extra damage for anything like that. Sing Sing gonna eat a stun.
Apparently, it's the first time that Zai has taken a point in Maledict before level 8.
Uh-oh, Sing Sing moving forward, gets the chain on PBD, who smartly is going to TP out. EGM not even close to in the vicinity to drop off that stun there.
It's actually not too surprising in the set, considering.
Oh, they're gonna bottom lane. Quake was
he
dead.
Gets the cask.
Oh my God, Zai! What a player,
man.
2-0 on this. Just he is.
I like how he just casts the ults, and he's like, well,
whatever,
if
I'm in.
I mean, if he gets the bounce, he kills him, and if he doesn't get the bounce, well, I mean, it's not that much of an investment. It's only on an 80-second cooldown. Not really a big deal.
Fear is looking pretty dead. Oh, maybe. Nope, still no level in Sleight of Fist, so he's going to live.
And he's just so tanky with this point booster and strength treads. It's actually really hard to take him down at this point in the game. Already up to 1200 HP. Looks like he does have a Ring of Regen. Maybe going to go for that mechanism. Possibly. I don't think anyone else on his team could really buy one, so I think we'll actually see Fear go back for a mechanism. I think he bought the point booster
just for situations like that.
Well, that and because it gives him enough mana to actually use the mech.
Got it, got it. Peter taking a lot of damage in top lane. Rotation maybe going to be needed here. It does not look like it's going to come. Peter is... Whoa, oh, he's trying to make something happen. Oh my God, Podcat sitting there. He's going to go down. Trying to TP out under the tower. Does get the kill on PPD. That was some clown shoes. Holy. Universe maybe going to eat some pressure here. Moving forward. There's the phase. Unfortunately, still getting cost by the chains and going to go down quite easily.
Yeah.
Did buy the Blink Dagger, though.
It was a little interesting. I think... I'm not sure why Pycat TP'd.
That was weird.
I mean, he would have lived had he just continued the TP, but then Ogre would have died. But he decided that he wants the kill and goes for it. EG are able to pick up the mid tower with Fear just constantly pressuring with the Plague Wards. And if we look at Arteezy's farm, he's up to 1500 gold on top of his drums. So if he continues to farm at this pace, we're probably looking at a 19-minute radiance, I would say, if he doesn't die. Which isn't too bad considering he has the drums as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's respectable. He bought Basilius. Does not go for the full Aquila, which is definitely something that he had done in the past. Arteezy maybe going to pop the song here to escape. Nope. Does not look like they're going to be too interested in moving forward. Instead, opting to deny that tower.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if Tinker are okay with their current position in the game and taking this into the late game, because they do have the Ember to deal with the illusions, and they have the Elder Titan Natural Order, which is extremely strong in the late game.
Yeah, very good. I mean, it seems, because on the one hand you have the Ember, right? But on the other hand, there's an Arteezy Naga.
Yeah. I mean, the only issue with Ember against Naga is that if the illusions are never together, it's actually not that effective.
Yeah.
Like if he's constantly just splitting up these illusions and sending them to different places.
Oh, Fear is going to grab the bounty rune under the hands of Sing Sing, but now Sing Sing maybe going to try to turn this one back around. There are a lot of supports. Yeah, and Sing is going to get out of there. Drops down a remnant. He's going to go back, heal up. He'll come back to this. Continue the top lane siege. Zai does have the Death Ward available.
Quakefoot does have his Blink Dagger. Have EG seen this? I don't think they have, so they might actually take a fight that is not advantageous for them, not knowing that Tidehunter does have the Blink available.
They need to be careful. He has had that for a little over a minute, I think, so there's a chance they know he has it, but there's definitely...
I don't think he's
I think he's been hiding very carefully since he's purchased it, and it does not look like they're going to defend this tier 1 anyway. It seems like EG might know that's a possibility. They don't see the Tidehunter in the front, so decide just not to engage on it.
And during all that time, Universe was farming the bot lane, Arteezy pushing the mid lane with illusions and farming the jungle, so EG just being a bit more efficient than Tinker. Tinker committing a lot of heroes to this top lane to secure the tower, and EG, I'm sure, are certainly fine with letting that tower go if it means that they can get farm on this Naga.
Not a big deal, and that's the bigger thing right there. Like you mentioned, the Naga is just continuing to farm here. 3,000 gold for Arteezy, so he is nearing that relic very, very quickly. And we'll see if Team Tinker, I think they want to apply more pressure. I mean, they haven't used the Ravage yet. They have the mechanism on the Viper. They're going to be looking to continue these sieges on tier 1s. And we'll see if it's fast enough. I mean, it feels like Arteezy, once he gets in, you know, his groove of Naga, when he has the Radiance, he can farm. It's just unstoppable.
Yeah, and I mean, if we look at the gold graph, EG are just climbing further and further ahead, just being more efficient than Tinker with their usage of the map, already up to a 4,000 gold lead. It's no experience lead for them, experience sitting at even right now, but I mean, once he gets the Radiance, his farming ability is just going to skyrocket, and I'm not sure
he's already leading the net worth. Not like he's behind at this point.
Yeah, Tinker really need to start applying more pressure to EG.
iCat is going to be going for the Aghanim. No surprises there. Another big smoke down in the Radiant jungle.
They do Ravage PPD in the top lane. It looks like he might go down here.
He is going to fall. Meanwhile, though, big smoke gank looks like it's going to miss here by Team Tinker. Unless Arteezy runs into them. That is a distinct possibility. Looks close.
I'm actually quite surprised that they're not checking. It looks like they're going to go on Universe, but he quickly blinks out.
Universe is out of there.
Really good reaction. And I'm actually quite surprised that they didn't check that big camp for Arteezy. That may have been a kill. Although they were probably worried about being songed on and then mass TP'd. So even if they had found Arteezy there, it's probably not a point at which they can kill him.
Universe continuing to push these waves out. And he's doing well for himself. Koikva, not too shabby either, honestly. He's just going to be continuing to farm these stacked camps. There is a stacked Ancient camp over here. That can be either for the Tidehunter or for Sing Sing on the Ember. Both of them very efficient at clearing.
It is pretty surprising that Koikva didn't opt for either a bottle or arcane boots on this Tidehunter. So he did go for the Blink Rush. It didn't really actually do that much for him. They did secure the top tower, but EG not defending, so I would say this Blink Dagger Rush not really paying off for Koikva. He would have actually, I think, be farming a lot better with either the bottle or the arcane boots. But that being said, not doing too bad on the farm. He's up to another 1,000 gold on top of his Blink Dagger. Probably going to go clear the Ancient stack now.
I mean, the only thing they get out of that, the Blink Dagger, is that kill on PPD, basically.
Yeah.
So now the Arcanes are finished up, so he can more easily farm up these Ancients or stacks with that extra mana. Arteezy, the Relic is finished, so Team Tinker, if they want to bring this into the late game, I think we'll see them just continue to passively farm, but hard to justify going into the late game against the Naga. I mean, like you mentioned about the Ember, it's decent for clearing the illusions when they're all grouped up at the tower or pushing, but if he just continues to split push with it, it doesn't really matter that you have an Ember.
Yeah. And he's probably maybe not going to get it quite at that 19-minute pace, but maybe about 20 minutes, as he is up to 600 gold on top of the Relic. And Tinker, not in the most comfortable position.
Yeah, it feels like they're very nervous. I mean, they're all farming this stack together. It was at risk there of getting taken. And Fear actually gets a 4-staff with that Ring of Regen. Moves forward, gets Boba with the Gale. Are they going to continue forward? In comes the Astral Spirit. Yeah.
And honestly, not getting the mech on this Veno just tells me that EG are looking towards the late game. I would say had he gotten the Veno, or the mechanism on the Veno, it would lead me to believe that EG were going to try to pressure with these 4 heroes while they have Naga split pushing. But I don't even think they're going to do that. They're just completely content with having Naga push out 1 or 2 lanes, and then either having the Venomancer push out another lane, as it looks like Roshan is going to be scouted, and I don't think they can do this.
Yeah,
They're taking risky. Too much damage.
Yeah, I mean, EG clearly know what's happening. They shot the orb in there. There's wards in there. Arteezy can always move in there with Song. Well, now he doesn't have enough mana as they move out of the Rosh pit, but pretty risky to try to go for Rosh in that scenario.
Yeah. And Fear continuing to pressure the bottom lane using the Plague Wards, and it's actually so hard to kill him once he has this Force Staff, and if you chase him too far, he's going to get the Poison Nova off and just... I mean, if you chase him too far, you might just all die.
Yeah. Team Tinker heading back into their own jungle now.
Radiance
trying
not completed.
To just... I mean, it feels like they're just at sort of a loss of what they want to do. They try to move into the Rosh pit. That doesn't work out. They're farming these Ancients together. just because they're nervous of them getting taken by EG, and now they're just sitting here, and meanwhile Arteezy is just doing whatever he wants all over the map.
Yeah. And what is Tinker's answer to this? I mean, at this point, you almost have to go late game against this, because how are you going to pressure these towers? Sure, you have the Viper who can sit there and attack the towers, but none of the other heroes are actually that good at sieging the base.
No, not particularly.
And with the initiation that EG have in the Puck and even the Naga Sleep, as well as using the Plague Wards defensively, it would be very difficult for Team Tinker to take a fight near these towers. So, I mean, at this point, Tinker, since they weren't able to acquire an early game advantage, they're pretty much forced into taking this late game. And we did talk about, you know, there is a possibility for them to win in the late game, but I just think this Naga, now that she has the Radiance, is just going to farm way too fast and get to the 6 slots before Tinker can actually deal with it.
Some very nice D-wards by EG. Mostly only getting sentries, but they seem to know exactly where everything is. Highcat getting closer to the Aghanims. Top lane though, big fight. Zai drops down the Death Ward. Sing Sing taking damage. He's going to go down. Double kill for Zai. Tidehunter does not get the Ravage off in that fight. The silence from Universe enabling that one, and good fight there for EG. And Team Tinker, when they lose these fights, it feels like they're falling so far behind, because Arteezy's not ever going to be at these, you know, until he is completely ready to go, and he is just so farmed.
No, and that was I mean, that fight was a support and an offlaner fighting against 2 cores for Team Tinker.
Puck continuing to push out the waves. Fear continuing to just do what he's been doing for the last 5 minutes, it feels like. Sitting in this bottom lane, forcing forward, Galing Bulba, pushing the lane slowly. Heater's here as well.
Yeah, and Tinker are just under so much pressure. What can they do at this point? I think they're just going to get out-farmed.
Yeah, because at this point, Arteezy pushing in mid lane, farming the jungle. They have pressure in the top lane. Fear is providing pressure in the bottom lane. And Pycat's actually going to stop for a Maelstrom. This is just a response to the Naga illusions, realizing that they need a way to clear those out. But not the most ideal item to push out these lanes, or not the most ideal hero to be pushing out lanes. But this is what they have to do at this point. Fear finally does get blown up in the bottom lane. Sing Sing rotating down to make that happen.
Yep, and I actually missed that one, but it looks like, I imagine it was just a stomp into triple remnants, and then they're able to combo that with the chains.
Yep.
And an easy takedown. And I mean, Arteezy's just farming away, doing whatever he wants. He's got up the Boots of Travel now, and they really need to find some kills on Arteezy just to pressure the lanes, because I think if they can find a kill on Arteezy, they might be able to get these tier 1 towers. And these tier 1 towers are just providing so much map control for EG. I mean, look at Zai. He can actually just farm right here quite comfortably, because knowing that his tier 1s are alive, and it looks like they're going to go on Sing Sing with the coil.
Oh, he's going to get multicasted down. He's going to die. Death Ward even used for that one. Zai getting that kill. Back to Arteezy in the top lane. A little bit of dance around here. It looks like he now knows that there is some pressure here. There's heroes looking for him, but he is going to be just fine. Sending the illusions out. Continuing to farm the lane.
Yep. Arteezy being really smart with his positioning, not showing his hero on the map, just farming with the illusions, and
Zai actually has a finished Aghanim Scepter. That's a lot of farm on the Witch Doctor, and he's moving forward. Yule's up in the air. That stops that engagement.
Yep. 75 CS, 5 kills, 3 assists. Already with the Ogre Club and 1,000 gold, so looking towards that BKB.
Fear starting up the Roshan here. And it's going to take him a while to do it this way, but we'll see if he gets a little bit of help from any of his other teammates. I'm
not even sure what this is.
It's just actually, like, how long does this take? Like 10 minutes?
A really long time.
Oh my god. Well, if he gets a little bit of attention here, looks like Zai and Peter are rotating over. There is no ward coverage in the area, so Team Tinker might not know this is happening.
I mean, it is pretty safe because they've pulled 2 cores into the top lane.
Pycat with his Maelstrom. And Arteezy continue to just pressure these other lanes. Looks like they've abandoned it. At least just Fear is the only one there now. And Zai gonna eat an Echo Stomp here. Is that enough to kill him? No. He is unslept. Woken up. Cat though, getting some pressure. There's the Dream Coil. They net him as well. RTZ sees 2 TPs in. Does not have enough mana for Song quite yet. 1 mana away. Gets swapped. Oh, Yule's up in the air now. He needs to get this off. Can they chain it together? There's the Echo Stomp. Woken up by the tower. No, stun locked. And he tried to cast that sleep several times in a row. Not able to get it off.
Wow.
Well played there by Team Tinker.
That was actually really well played, the way that they trained all of their abilities. They swapped him to cancel it the first time, then they Yulesed him to cancel it the next time, then they chain stunned him with the Stomp and the Magic Missile, but during all that time, EG are able to secure the Roshan, so...
Here picks up that
created a little bit from RTZ, and he's almost got his Yasha. Honestly, not even that big of a kill for Team Tinker, as they aren't able to convert that kill on the Naga into anything.
Yeah. At least they are able to kill RTZ. They looks like they might get Peter here. There is a Yule Stomp coming in as well. Now PBD looks extremely dead.
Radiant's bottom tower is
he goes down.
Attack.
Yeah. So that is a good kill if they're able to convert this into a tower. And I mean, these kills actually don't mean that much if they're not able to get any objectives off of them. Team Tinker are just suffering a lot because they have no map control.
And I mean, they get these kills, but then they, as soon as RTZ's back up, the lanes get pressured. They don't seem to be, like you mentioned, accomplishing much at all. I mean, tier 1s are still, well, one tier 1 is up bottom. They have taken down 2. Sing Sing now with a Battle Fury.
But it's just so late. It's 27 minutes. I don't think, it's just not enough against this Naga Siren, who already has the Radiance, the Yasha up.
Yeah, he's just continuing to farm away, and Evil Geniuses feels like they're just farming toward an inevitable end here. I mean, the gold graph has stagnated a bit. XP actually a bit in favor now of Team Tinker, but some pretty overwhelming map control from Evil Geniuses. I mean, the question for me is, can Team Tinker push this issue? I mean, we haven't really seen Ravage used in too many big, like, 4-on-4 engagements or 5-on-4 engagements. Can they push the issue with that in combination with, you know, Elder Titan has the Earth Splitter? There are options here, I feel like, for Team Tinker to fight, but Evil Geniuses don't really seem to be giving them the opportunity.
I mean, there are a couple things to note that in the late game, this Elder Titan aura, especially against an illusion hero like Naga Siren, who's most likely not going to be building any armor items, is quite effective, as it's going to reduce pretty much all of his armor. And I expect, I mean, someone on EG has to buy a Vlad's, and possibly even an AC on one of these heroes.
Just to give him some armor.
I mean, Arteezy is going to have 0 armor in these team fights at some point in the game. And
yeah,
at
15
that point,
natural armor, but that's all going to go away as soon as he gets touched by the Astral Spirit.
At that point, I mean, Tinker really have this really annoying combo to push against with the Elder Titan and the Ember Spirit. And it looks like they might actually go on the top lane as they have an Invis rune on Sing Sing. Can they find the real Naga is the question. Arteezy's just playing way too safe.
Yeah, he's way in the back. Does not want to die again. And they're going to be hard pressed to find something here. Maybe they can find Zai. He's a bit far forward, but they're going to go on it yet. Arteezy now moving forward. Sing Sing, can he get something started here? A lot of Evil Geniuses are here, though. Zai and Universe in the bottom lane. Fear is just continuing to pressure this tier 2. And Universe taking a lot of damage. There was an engagement there. Song is used by Arteezy. They back up.
Yeah, doesn't look like they can actually fight that. As Universe gets quite low from the combo from Ember Spirits, and I think Tinker, it's actually really hard to say how this is going to go in the late game, because they don't have very good single target damage against these illusions, but they have good AoE. So if EG intelligently split push the illusions in separate lanes, then I think they have a strong chance to win this game. But it's going to be very difficult actually for them to take these team fights, like going uphill against the Ember Spirit and the Elder Titan. Is, I mean, this combo is actually just very ridiculous in the late game, as you can just spam the waves with Astral Spirit and Sleight of Fist along with the Natural Order aura, and everything's just going to die when you try to walk uphill.
Veil is completed for Fear. Maybe that helps them win some of these earlier team fights, as EG gathering in the top lane. Pycat on the way out here is going to TP. Pretty close to almost dying there. A little bit of dancing going on in this bottom area. Both teams, I mean, just passively farming, pushing up. Fear still has this Aegis.
Zai almost completing his BKB on the Witch Doctor. I mean, this is really fast timing for an Axe BKB on a support Witch Doctor.
Yeah, the good news is that there is a Vengeful Spirit swap.
Yeah.
So that's still a possibility, although he might die so fast. We'll see if he can actually get it off. I mean, Ag's Death Ward is no joke.
Mm-hmm. Especially because I expect at least one Naga illusion to be placed on these support heroes on the side of Tinker during these team fights.
Sing Sing at least able to push out the waves now. I mean, Fear has been working on this bottom tier 2 for basically ever, but it does contain Team Tinker. I mean, they have limited options as far as the lanes that they can push out. They're constantly getting pushed in, and if they don't keep a hero bottom, then Fear will just take the tower.
And if we look at the gold, it's not really increasing in EG's favor, so Tinker doing a good job of using the map, farming out all of the lanes. And a lot of the farm is going out of this Naga Siren, so the farm distribution a bit better for Team Tinker.
It looks like he might go up here. Oh, Remnant's away. He's going to snap it. Oh my god!
Dead to the poison.
So close, but not making it out. Dead to the poison.
That's just so much magic damage with the Veil of Discord.
That Veil already getting 1 kill. Does that open up some space now for EG to maybe push in a little bit more aggressively? They have to commit a lot to these illusions here. RTZ finally is going to run into Pycat. Does have enough mana to BOT out of here. Is very close to dying, but is going to be okay in the end. Just barely, though. That was close.
Wow. You know, Bulba, I think, actually chased too far with his hero. Had he been able to keep the Spirit on top of RTZ and run his hero away at the same time, I think they actually would have secured a kill onto RTZ, because they would have gotten off the Echo Stomp.
Yep. Yeah, this Spirit is broken.
Oh, it is. Look at it.
Yeah,
maybe he just needs to cast.
stuck.
Oh, he can't cast a new one. Okay, that's actually a problem.
Broke. Pushing back over to the standings really quickly here, just to, again, show what's at stake. Evil Geniuses, like we mentioned, I mean, this is not a must-win game for them, it seems like. But for Team Tinker, I think they need to get at least one of them, but we're back
Spirit's
underway.
Still bugged. Maybe he can use him. Oh, there we go. He just walks into it. All right.
He just wants to make sure it works again. Pushing out this lane. That's a little weird. I've never seen that happen before.
I'm not sure what caused it. Maybe the sleep or something.
Yeah.
Some weird interaction. But as it stands, RTZ just continuing to farm out all these lanes. Goes ahead and uses the Manta, TPs himself out of there. Already up to 3,000 gold on top of his Manta style. And it looks like we're going to have a smoke from the rest of the members of Evil Geniuses.
They're going to find... Oh, EGM. EG loses the gem in that engagement, too. Now Bulba going to try to get on out of here. Do they have an... Oh, the net just not quite close enough.
Yeah.
Team Tinker get away with limited losses, although losing the gem, not insignificant. As, again, that's something that can maybe help them get map control back.
Team Tinker are going to be in quite a predicament after this Hex is completed on Universe, because currently they're able to push out these lanes fairly decently, but I think once Universe gets this Hex, it's going to be much more difficult to push out these lanes, especially for the Ember Spirit, because if he gets hexed and then chained into the Silence and then stunned by, one of these support heroes, he could just fall fairly easily.
Yeah, very easy for him to just get pushed out and then die immediately. Tidehunter moving forward here onto Arteezy. Does have the Ravage available. Haste Rune as well. What do they want to do? There's the Ravage popped. Arteezy, we'll see if he can make it out. Is there going to be something to follow this up? There is the Yules. Stomp coming down. Arteezy's going to be stuck. Trying to make it out of this one. Earth Splitter as well. It looks like they might be able to take him down. Yes, they do. Fear now coming in. Drops down the Nova. Sing Sing is rotated in. Sleight of Fist. Chain's going off. Bulba trying to get some hits off. Koikova is going to go down here to the poison. Zai moves forward with the paralyzing cast. It's bouncing between two extremely easily. Bulba, no, not going to be able to get out of that. Sing Sing stacking remnants onto Fear. Fear still alive. Sing Sing gets multicast and PPD, smacking away. Down he goes. Triple kill for EG Fear. Disaster for Team Tinker as they lose a lot just to try to kill Arteezy. They do get the kill, but...
And Pycat died in the top lane. Who did Pycat die to?
I don't know.
He must have died to Ogre and...
Can't scroll up.
Huck, maybe?
Goes down.
What a disaster for Tinker. I think after they got the Naga kill, they should have been in full retreat mode. You can't kill this Venomancer. He's so tanky. And then Zai's just sitting there healing him up the entire time.
Dire's middle tower.
Yeah, that's,
I mean, it looked promising for Tinker. Had they just gotten the Naga kill and even maybe just traded the Tide, I think that would have been well worth it, but...
They lose a lot from that one, and Fear with a triple kill can accelerate him towards his next item here. And Evil Geniuses now with that fight victory, they are well ahead, 12k net worth.
So. And I think it just, as this game progresses, it just gets harder and harder for Team Tinker to keep from getting even further behind in golds, as they're just losing map control constantly. Every time they die, they lose a bit more map control. And I think once, like I said, once Universe gets this Hex, I mean...
Yeah, it's going to be hard because they're
literally going to have to sit in their base.
If they do what they've been doing, they're just going to get blinked on and killed pretty much immediately, it feels like. Sing Sing just trying to push out, building a second Battle Fury. I guess there's a small possibility that could be a Linken's, but...
Yeah. Has he picked up any other items?
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Arteezy has a Reaver. He almost has that heart completed, and that's going to be a big item for EG. Just making Arteezy able to really participate in the fights with tons of HP.
Yeah, and there's not enough damage on this Ember yet for him to effectively clear out these illusions.
Song gonna go off here. Arteezy gonna try to retreat. Zai hitting the escape button as well, and no, is gonna barely make it out. But oh, EGM caught with Fear. Fear takes him down. EG just looks like they're rampaging all over this game now. The last couple of minutes, it's really gotten out of hand. The Naga has really become a huge liability for them, because when it gets to this point, when the Naga illusions get so tanky, it's much harder for these supports to clear them out. You really need like a core to do it, and then at that case, in that point, the supports are like dying to just the illusions, and the heart is finished up now for Arteezy.
Yeah, and I think once he gets Diffusal, that's probably going to be the end of this game, just because Tinker are just going to be stuck in their base at that point in time. And it's not even like this is one of those games where it's only Arteezy farmed on this Naga. I mean, Fear is absolutely enormous on this Venomancer.
Yeah, third on the net worth. Highcat in second, but it feels like he hasn't had that much of an impact. I mean, he's 4-3-3. The mechanism has been okay in some of these fights. The Mjolnir is just a necessary item to help push out the waves.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like he's had a huge impact.
It's not. I wouldn't even say it's his fault, because it's so hard to play Viper against these split pushing heroes if you can't snowball the game early enough and just bulldoze your way down all these
they're
towers.
Gonna move forward. Fear darts forward. There is a Ravage available. He gets force staffed away. Zai turns on the Death Ward with the BKB. Double kill immediately. Now, full retreat from Team Tinker. The Earth Splitter's gonna go off. Sing Sing darting back and forth. Pycat, I think, got bashed by Roshan. Triple kill for Zai. Up in the top. One's gonna make it out. Buybacks. Pycat's coming back into this fight. And this feels like it has to be the last fight here. I don't understand how Team Tinker can come back after losing another one. Arteezy going into the base, just taking down buildings. Now he is going to pop off the Song, head out, and a very, very easy fight. It looked like for Fear. Quakeva was a little late to pull the trigger, it looked like, on the Ravage, and as a result, doesn't get it off at all. The Death Ward just consumes him.
Yeah. And I mean, even if he had gotten the Ravage off, Zai had already used the BKB, and Zai gonna go with the Manners Sanjun Yasha.
Oh boy. Yeah. Well, Evil Geniuses looking like they're going to close in here on game number 1 of this series of 2.
Dire's top barracks are under attack.
Yep, looking really good for EG at this point. I would say there's a very low probability now for Team Tinker to come back. If Sing Sing had more farm on this Ember, like if he had
I feel like if he had like already had the Battle Fury in like a Chrysalis or something, then you can say, you know, with the natural order, maybe there's a chance they can crit down the team or something like that. But he's just not farmed enough.
Yeah. Because I think for Tinker to win, he needs 2 Battle Furies, a Daedalus, and at that point, it's actually quite difficult for EG to push up into the high ground, but I mean, they're already down tier 3 towers, and
The problem is that EG's just winning the fights 4v5
yeah,
on the back of the Death Ward, and a good initiation from Universe.
and the Hex picked up on Universe too.
That feels like the beginning of the end, because it really limits the ability for Team Tinker to push out of their base here.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to be playing much more carefully. I mean, look at Bulbous just getting owned by these illusions. Veil plus Radiance Burn, Jesus.
I think he was Galed as well.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Beer pushing in. Beer's just been like a rock this game. He just sticks in the lane. He's been like a little mini Broodmother, also
Dire's
contributing
bottom tower
to the team
has
fights.
fallen.
But he's just been pushing in lanes constantly this whole time. Arteezy safely sending these illusions up, sieging. There is a Rax down in the mid lane as well. And EGM looking like he's gonna try to make it out of this one, but he is so dead. Arteezy getting the kill there with the illusions. There's the sleep. They're gonna initiate on Pycat, who does not have buyback, bought back in the last fight. And this does not feel good. Pycat is going to get hexed immediately, yes. And it looks like he will fall quickly after silence as well. Not going to let him do anything in this fight. There's the mech trying to get some right clicks off. Nope, Arteezy going to clean him up. And yeah, they just call GG. They know that it's over. So game 1 going to go the way of Evil Geniuses.
Yep, and not too surprising. I mean, we talked a little bit about Team Tinker's recent struggles, and even though EG are something, they aren't something I would say as much as Tinker have been recently.
Yeah, they've really had some issues.
Oh.
But game number 2, the last game of the series of 2, coming up soon here. I'm What Is Hip, with me F4L and that Phage guy on stats. Any closing